Last week, Wednesday, I presented live on stage for 90 minutes to a group of 100 entrepreneurs in the room here in Sydney, Australia. My first live thing I've done in over a year and a half. And I spent about 2 days putting together this deck, and I'm going to run you through the exact presentation right now. This is a presentation that people pay $20,000 a year to be part of this mastermind. And my friends Ben and James, who invited me along to be one of the guests, I was the LinkedIn specialist for 90 minutes, which was awesome. So I'm going to run you through the exact presentation I did now and all the examples so you can get the value of a $20,000 a year mastermind literally in this video. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't think it's going to take 90 minutes because I spent a lot of time going back and forth, and I can probably go a bit quicker because you guys can pause it and you can't pause things live. So let's get into it. The presentation I did was how to generate leads forever on LinkedIn. So very specific because I run a program called 7 Figure Creators where we're coaching 538 people to generate 6, then 7 figures on LinkedIn right now, and ranging from people with 500 followers all the way up to like 200,000 followers. So we range all the way up. So let's get into it. Now in the presentation, this is a tip for anyone that ever does live presentations or on-stage presentations, or on online webinars is what I said to everyone. I said, hey, there's going to be a lot of information in this. I'm not kidding, but I'm going to be you're going to be leaving with a lolly bag. Now, what a lolly bag was I put in they had a WhatsApp chat group for the event. So I put inside the chat group, I put a link that said, hey, if you want the lolly bag, we'll email it to you after. Put in your email here. And I captured about 50 leads, and multiple of those leads actually converted to becoming customers of ours. So big tip if you're doing webinars and if you're also doing live presentations, give things away. So you can either have a QR code on the screen, or you can just put a link to a squeeze page, put it in the live chat that an event has. And I promise you capture tons and tons of leads. And the way that you get people's emails is you give them free things. So you'll see at the end, all the free things that I gave them, they're actually really valuable, worth way more than a few $100s. And so everyone put in their email. So big tip if you're going to do it. Now into the presentation. The reason small businesses don't grow, I'm just going to be straight up with you here, is they think lead generation is icky. And if you're a small business owner, I know you're going to be feeling this. So they never do it because deep down, they're scared people will judge them. That's honestly the reason. It's just shame. It's plain and simple. The only way to grow your small business is you need to be shameless. And so if you look at people like me and tons of other people who have grown their business on LinkedIn, it's probably you look at my content sometimes and what I do and you're like, man, this guy just has, balls of steel. He just puts out whatever. That's because I just threw shame out the window. Because if you want to grow your business, you got to put yourself out there. You got to talk to people. You got to be shameless. And then once you actually lose the shame, then there's going to be only 2 things holding you back. Because if you still have shame, you're literally trying to fight with one hand behind your back. But once you lose it, there's then only going to be 2 things holding you back from earning the dollars you want. One is you don't do enough lead gen. You just straight up don't do enough. Like I have non-negotiables for the week, and I'm a bit extreme, but I do 14 posts on LinkedIn every week. I then also do 1 podcast every day. Now I'm going to do 2 YouTubes a week. Like I do crazy amount of DMs every week, like so much like marketing stuff, and it's a non-negotiable for me. The problem is people underestimate the amount of stuff they need to do. And then the second thing is you're just not good enough at it. Because the thing is, to become good at something or to learn to enjoy it, it comes through mastery. People aren't just like, I was never just passionate about LinkedIn and I wanted to be a LinkedIn guy. I just did it heaps and I got good at it and I became passionate. And so most of the time you just don't do enough and you're not good at it. And that's why you don't enjoy it. And that's why today I'm going to cover in this presentation the 3 things you need to grow right now on LinkedIn. So this is how we've done. Our business we did $220,000 last month, all from LinkedIn, organic content and DMs. And this is the only 3 things that I really use to do it. So how to generate leads forever on LinkedIn. And this presentation was to small business owners who already had an established business. So I positioned warm leads per week instead of revenue. It was just easy for them to understand, because most small business owners, if they can get more than 5 warm leads per week and I'm not talking about like someone, just coming to you and saying something. I mean like actual people that are interested. That is a warm lead. Because a lot of people say, hey, I got 20 leads. It's like, just because you got someone to opt in for your thing doesn't count as like really a warm lead. So the 3 things holding people back from leads forever are they're not set up on LinkedIn correctly, they're having too many casual conversations, and they're creating too confusing content. And so the way we overcome this, or what I teach people, And what I do myself is I show how to build a lead converting profile, how to have conversations that turn into calls, and then also how to create client attracting content. And I literally do all this stuff, and I'm going to show you through all examples of clients I have who do all this stuff, so you can literally look up their profiles as well. And then how do I know this works? The stats. So I reached 6,848,241 people on LinkedIn in 1 year. Of that, I booked 2,007 meetings in 12 months, and I collected $1.52 million cash from LinkedIn, $0 on ads. So the margins are really dang good. Yeah, I did it spending $0 on ads while sitting at home, taking Teddy for 2 walks a day, literally doing what I'm doing right now. Now I got like a YouTube studio in a spare room because we've got a bigger house because I needed a YouTube studio as well. If you noticed, I got that photo behind me as well. I'll move out of the way so you can read it. How cool is it? My partner got it for me. But when will my career love me back? Which is really cool. But yeah, I did it all from home. I'm also rank number 9 right now in Australia on LinkedIn. Just looked this up the other day when I got a Favicon account, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I actually used to be number 45, and I've gone up to number 9 now. I'm in front of some ex-prime ministers and all that stuff, which I'm pretty excited about. Don't know how I got there. Yeah, no idea how I got there. I'm in front of this guy called Daniel Ricciardo, just a slightly good F1 driver. Then Mark Bouris, he's pretty well known. And then the Honourable Peter Dutton, I'm pretty sure is the opposition leader. So a little bit behind that dude. And we've got 538 clients, as I mentioned, in our program right now. And this is a high ticket program. This is not a $49 per month program. And I've also got 300 plus testimonials in 50 niches. I do a podcast every single day. I do long form YouTubes like this one right here. And that's me. But why LinkedIn? Why is LinkedIn the best platform for generating leads? Before I get into the presentation, let me just tell you a quick story. You can probably see me in the middle there, right at the back. Don't know why I got shafted at the back when I'm short, but yeah, whatever. I'm in the middle. I'm there. I'm present. But why LinkedIn? So I started my business in December 2022. And when I did, I started it as a cold outreach company. So I did cold calling and booking meetings for small businesses, small service-based businesses. The reason I did this is because the previous company I grew from cold calling. So that's all I knew. That and then we also did cold email. Now, this is a group that I became a part of called BNI. It's a in-person networking group. We used to get there at 6:30 a.m. every Friday of the year, and we used to network. And so this was everyone there, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I met so many amazing people. I met over 150 small business owners, like in person, in the first 6 months of me being there. And it's honestly the reason of what shaped the business to the way it is today. And the reason I chose LinkedIn was a couple of things. When I started my business, cold calling and booking meetings for small businesses is really difficult because they've never run a sales process, which makes it really hard because when someone has never run a sales process, they've never closed a deal from a cold lead, they're not used to doing that. And so they're used to building their business off referrals like all these guys here. And so I quickly realized that cold calling and cold emailing to book people appointments doesn't really work. And it was one day, there was this one lady, Holly, from, there's 2 things happened which kind of made me push towards LinkedIn and why I'm all in on it. It's like the best platform in my opinion, if you want to grow your business, if you're B2B or B2C high ticket. But one day, Holly, she's in PR. She works with construction companies. She's been doing it for about 20, 25 years. Really well known in the industry, but not massive on LinkedIn. And she got up and she said, hey guys, just letting you know, closed an $80,000 deal on LinkedIn last week. And I was like, what? How did that happen? And I looked up her profile and I literally saw she just made some random post and it was an old client that just reached back out to her and said, hey, Holly, we need to engage your services again. And I was like, what the hell? And it worked because she'd already built a reputation in the industry. And I know this now very viscerally, but the reason small businesses don't grow is they just don't market enough. Straight up, they don't market at all. They think they're marketing. Like everyone here in this photo thought they were marketing by turning up to a networking group every week, and they somewhat were, but it was nowhere near enough marketing of what you need to do. The second thing happened when that made me really push me over the line to want to do the business was when I one day I was just standing there and I overheard someone say, "Man, all I need to grow my business is just a few warm leads per week. Like that's it. That's everything." And in my mind, I just immediately thought, I could show you how to do it on LinkedIn. That's super easy. And I was like, started talking to more and more people. And then I was like, so if you just need a few warm leads a week, like just a couple, And then everyone was like, yeah, that's all I need. Like, then my business would grow. Like, I don't get any now. And I was like, in my mind, I was befuddled. I was like, how do you not? Like, it's so easy with LinkedIn. You just log in, start talking to people. Quickly realized though that nobody actually has the skill set to generate leads. I just automatically thought that they all did, but nobody knew how to start conversations. Nobody knew how to create content. Nobody knew how to position themselves on the platform. And that was literally the catalyst of how, you know, our program 7-Figure Creators came to be. And it's really funny because, you know, the way I started the program is I was trying to sell everyone on cold calling and cold emailing in this group. And, you know, I met over 150 people. And then all I did was, when I started the LinkedIn program, is I just reached back out to everyone and said, hey, I'm selling this new thing now. I'm going to teach you how to use LinkedIn to generate leads for your business, a few warm leads a week. And then 25 people signed up, and they all paid $3,500 each for a lifetime membership back then. And I sold 25 people in, and that was the start of the business. And since then, I've worked out that, like, the reason LinkedIn's the best is because it relies on your existing network and connections. Like, it literally, it's like anyone you've built up a reputation with, LinkedIn is just networking online. And so it's just a different skill. So when you message someone and DM them and network with them, it's the same as going to an in-person networking event. It's just more leveraged, and you can do it. So, you know, we teach people to have the power so they can just log into LinkedIn when they're just literally sitting down on the couch from their iPhone and just start talking to people and just book meetings for the next week. Like, I had a client, Mundo, who he took a weekend off, or I took a week off and went away with his partner. I think it's his wife, actually. And then he came back the next week and he's like, oh, I need some meetings. So he just logged in and booked 4 meetings, like, because he has the skill literally to do it. And like, that was the catalyst of like how the business came to be. So I failed a lot in the beginning, changed my offer a few times until I realized that booking people 5 to 10 meetings a week from cold wasn't required. They just needed a few warm leads and a few warm conversations, which was crazy. And so what is LinkedIn? Why does it matter? And how come it works? LinkedIn is just the world's largest B2B networking platform. That's it. So if you've never been to a networking event, you might be a bit younger, but everyone older, you're not older, but like anyone who's like, you know, been in business for a while has been to a networking event. And a networking event is where you go, you meet people in person at some event, you exchange business cards, you organize coffee chats for the next week, you build your business. LinkedIn is a 24/7 networking event where you can log in and people are looking to buy the thing that you sell 24/7, and you can talk to them all the time. It's literally the greatest platform of all time. And the reason why it's so good is because the platform is actually bad in comparison to Instagram and Facebook, right? Instagram and TikTok, like the visuals of Instagram are like so much better, right? But the problem is the competition on there is way better. The content on Instagram, like, it's 10 times better than the content on LinkedIn. And so the reason why LinkedIn is so good is because there's no competition. No one's doing it well. And the thing is, it's got the decision makers of like the people who you want to sell to. It literally says who they are. Like on Instagram, you don't even know what people do. It doesn't say who they are, where they work, all that kind of stuff. On LinkedIn, it says, do they own a business? How long have they owned it for? How many employees have they got? Here's the link to their website. Have they got any awards? It's so easy. It's literally the greatest platform ever. And I just still don't understand why people don't use it. And I think it's so awesome, the fact that Elon Musk the other week said anyone that posts on LinkedIn is cringe. I'm like, thank you, Elon. Don't tell anyone about it. I would rather be a big fish in a little sea, in a little pond, because I don't even think my content's that good. But we make like $2.5 million a year, 0 ads. You can imagine how good our margins are in the business. I think our margins are like 70%. Literally, it's insanity. And so that's why LinkedIn is the best. And it's running 24/7. It's where all your clients are. It's where they have problems that you solve, and they're looking for a solution for it. Like literally everyone is there. The average user uses LinkedIn for 13 minutes a day, and the average LinkedIn user makes 3 times as much money as every other platform. And you can literally see where they work and when they went to school and university. Like, it's insane. You know, but what you got to remember is LinkedIn is not a selling platform. Everyone makes this mistake. The way they use LinkedIn is just so transactional. Like, I got a message the other day from someone, looked like they had a good profile, but they just pitched me in the first message. And I'm like, man, if you go to an in-person networking event and you just walk up to people and you just start pitching them, like, they don't care. Like, they don't want to work with you. It's about building a relationship. It's about giving people value. It's about putting out content that they read and they're like, wow, this person knows and understands me. It's about sending them a message and saying, hey, I thought about you when I was talking to one of my clients who had this issue. I wanted to give you this resource that I gave them because I think it might be able to help you too. I hope you have a good weekend. And then next week you can send them a message and book a meeting because They feel grateful that you sent them something for free. Now, let me just move my little head over here because I know you can't really see me. Yeah, so like, let me just break down and why LinkedIn works specifically and what people are doing wrong. So if you don't know what this is, it's like the demand generation pyramid. And I'm not going to get into the science because I don't even know how real it is. But if you read any super old school copywriting book, like I'm reading one right now called Breakthrough Advertising. Sorry, I can't remember who the author is. It'll come back to me. And I read one called The Boron Letters as well by Gary Halbert, like one of the greatest copywriters of all time. If you don't know what copywriting is, it's the art of persuasive writing. It's the art of channeling the desires of the people who are in the market, right? In an economy, right? Or in a country. And it's channeling their desires and writing something that triggers to their desires to make them take an action. So copywriting, all it does is it's persuasive writing that channels people's desires. So for example, people always want to lose weight and look good and feel good, right? Always. And so, but there's constant like trends and stuff that come up over time. But like the real good copywriters, what they do, they write things in a way, like you think of a really good app, right? MyFitnessPal. It's like massive right now. And like they have very good marketing and advertising because it creates this thing, or even this Whoop that I'm wearing, which is a fitness tracker, right? They have very good advertising. Like they're a massive company because they're just channeling, or like the best example is Ozempic, right? Man, I think I read online, it's $160 a month and it just suppresses your appetite at literally no gym. It's going to destroy the fitness industry, right? Unless there's some massive harmful effects. But like people are just taking Ozempic. If you look up the company, look up how much money they're making, their revenue doubled in like a year in the tens of billions of dollars. It's insane. But what this demand generation pyramid is it shows that only 3% of the market is ready to buy right now. 7% is open to buying but not looking. 30% is not thinking about it. The other 30% is think that they aren't interested. And the other 30% is they know they aren't interested. Now, when people use LinkedIn like a cold outreach email platform and they just pitch in the first message, you've got 100% of the people available on LinkedIn. Let's say there's 100 people in your target market, right? But only 3% are ready to buy right now. So that's only 3 of the 100. But the thing is, when you cold outreach people, only a certain number of people, like cold outreach or accept it. So maybe you get 1 out of 100 people that are open to hearing about your stuff. And even then, when you do cold outreach, it's still harder to sell to someone because they have a lot more pessimism towards you. They don't trust you as much. But when you think about LinkedIn as a networking platform, you actually get to capture the whole market. So I've had people who've joined our program after 18 months of seeing my content and me messaging them. And right in the beginning, they knew they weren't interested, but through me putting out content that helped them solve problems, me messaging, helping them solve problems, over time, 18 months later, they became in the 3% ready to buy. And then when they thought about buying, I was like literally the first option. Like I was the only option that popped in my head and this is what good marketing is. Like I come from being a salesperson, right? I used to always only sell to the people in the 3%. Like that's literally what I did. And then I understood marketing and I understood the power of it. And I was like, wow, so you can actually just capture the whole market. Like the best marketers, what they do is they plan 2 years in advance. They say, okay, let's take, for example, like someone sells like how to invest in property. But like what people might be doing is like they might create a product that's for people who are like thinking about maybe looking at properties or thinking about saving for a property, right? Let's say you say how to buy properties, but they teach you here's how to save for a property. But that's like 2 or 3 years before. But like, let's say you help them save for the property. Then eventually when they're going to look for the property, they're going to think about you, literally. And so this is the problem, is everyone's like too short term, is they're just thinking, and that's why when I've helped clients, I literally say, don't pitch in the first message, just be helpful. And then once you be helpful, the person will always flip the conversation and ask what you do. But I'm going to go through this a few times in this presentation. Now, before we get into the juice, you also need to remember everything that I'm teaching you right now in this presentation has one goal in mind, and that's to help you start more conversations. The whole goal of content, commenting, LinkedIn, everything is to have more conversations. The best salespeople in the world are simply the ones that prospect the most. That's a quote from Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blount. Well, it's a really good sales book. You don't really need to read it. All you need to take out of it is he says the best salespeople in the world just prospect the most. And prospecting is just doing outreach, is they literally just talk to the most amount of people. And that's the big problem is people just underestimate the number of conversations that they're meant to have to grow their business. They watch movies where someone gets like a big break, from one party they go to. It doesn't fucking happen. Like you look up any really successful person, like the guy from Diary of a CEO, can't remember his name. He started by sending thousands of cold emails. There's another guy as well. Oh, he'll come back to me. He's a guy I'm really following at the moment. Really, he was on the Diary of a CEO, but like he started by sending out like hundreds of like messages and phone calls. People just don't have enough conversations, and that's what they're doing. And then the words of Mr. Daniel Priestley, everything in business is downstream from lead generation. What that means is people usually do the inverse in business. They try to like build a product, then build their operations, then they start marketing, and then they try to sell, right? It's like the total opposite. Like you should be just solving the lead generation problem first. You should be being like, okay, how do I generate so many leads that the next thing I think about is how do I sell the thing? But everyone doesn't want to do that because it's uncomfortable. So the first thing we're going to go through is how to create a lead converting profile on LinkedIn. And I'll go through what I mean by lead converting profile. And your profile literally has one purpose. And there's a lot of people like who talk about the different purposes of profiles. Like, your KPI should be profile viewers. Your profile should be like, look super fancy and expensive. But realistically, there's actually only one purpose of the profile. And that's to get the person to go to your profile and then do the next step, which is either book in time with you or give you their email in exchange for something. And I'll show you how. And so the key elements to optimize on your personal LinkedIn profile, we've got your profile headshot, background photo, the perfect headline, a custom button, featured section, and about me section. And this is my old profile, by the way, because this is an old deck or a bit of a deck, but I'll show you my updated profile as well, but it uses the same principles. Now, with your LinkedIn profile, you want to make sure that your photo is close up. And you can use a tool called secta.ai, secta.ai. That was my photo here when I had it before I took a photo with this new expensive camera that I've got. But you want to make sure it's close up. The reason is because you want people to remember you when you're messaging them, when you're creating content. And 68% of people use LinkedIn from the mobile phone. And so if you're zoomed out and far away with a fuzzy photo, 10-year-old you, they can't really see you. And so when they meet you, they won't have this like mind connection to who you are. And so you want to be right up in their face all the time because being in their face creates trust. Oops. And then next one is called your essentially your banner or your background photo. And I'm going to show you some different ones as well. But the banner should act like a billboard. People scroll and they scan. They don't stop to read. The more detailed, the worse it is. Like this is Ryan Musselman's old one that was like, subscribe to Coaches Who Close. Really good. He's like, I've got a newsletter, Coaches Who Close. Nick Brokhammers, if your content got in more inbound leads, how much more revenue would you generate? Super simple, easy to read and easy to understand. You don't want overly complicated. The next up is what's called the perfect headline. And so the headline, as you can see, I like to call that like your headline, so your name and your headline is the metadata that you leave. And so if someone looks at my profile, you can see that other similar profiles thing on the side. I'll just move myself over here as well. Or if they see when I message them, or if they see, if I comment, they can always see helping you get 5+ warm leads per week on LinkedIn, literally. And so then what people do is then they click on my profile because they see that. And we had a client, Sean, he changed his headline to helping business owners get finance. Super simple. And he got the next day 2 leads in 24 hours. And so headline, 45 to 55 characters. It should be like a children's book, the most basic thing ever. Do not put what you do, CEO of this, waste of time. Talk about how you help the other person. Now, the next thing is what's called the custom button. The custom button is a recent-ish profile on LinkedIn. And what it does is it allows users, if you can see down here on the right, I've got a LinkedIn post. It says, I spent 178 minutes on LinkedIn today and make this much per follower per year, right? It says, visit my website. That's the custom button. And when people went to that and they clicked that button, it went to a single landing page, which pushed them through a video sales letter to book a call. And that's how we booked 2007 meetings in a year. Because people didn't even have to look at my profile to get through to my website of the next action that I wanted them to do as well. Next up is the featured section. The featured section is a little section on LinkedIn. You want max 1 to 2 things inside this featured section, otherwise it's too complicated. And a trick is you want to call out in the featured section, what's the thing that people want or what's the thing they can't achieve. Do you want to generate 5 warm leads per week? Click here, right? It doesn't say book a call. It's like, do you want this outcome? Even though I want people to book a call. And also you want to remove the little description. So where it says click here, unlockai.ai, you want to remove that description there because then otherwise people have to click twice and you want to limit the number of clicks that they have to do. Then we've got the About Me section. Now, to be honest, I don't think this one actually even matters. I've removed my About Me section for now. But if you are going to have an About Me section, it should be written as a sales letter. A sales letter is you want somebody to read it and in the end to convince them to take the next action, whether it be DM you, download something, book a time, whatever it is. It just should be constructed as a sales letter. And the sales letter format that I use was called Problem Agitate Solution, PAS. So you write the customer's problems, you agitate it by saying why it's bad, and then you give them a solution to it as well. And the solution is, download my thing or book a time. But right now I don't even use it because I want the sole focus of pushing people to our website, essentially. And then the most important part is what's called your high converting landing page. So as I mentioned before, every single person gets driven to your profile. Like they might see your headline, get 5 warm leads per week, and then click on your profile, scroll through, have a quick scan, but I want them to hit up my high converting landing page. And a high converting landing page is simply a page set up that gives people 2 options: leave or do the next action. And so this is an example of a high converting landing page, and I'll show you a couple more live examples. But see here how you can't scroll up and down. It's all what's called above the fold. So if I look on the mobile phone, it's all here, and it's literally pushing people and trying to persuade them to just click the get the funnel blueprint, where they put in their email and they get emailed something. And then when you capture someone's email, it allows you to market to them directly via email. And I think we closed for Black Friday, I think we closed about 20 deals over email, about 3K each, and no sales calls, literally. So it's like 30 grand. And one month we did, I think it was 50 grand. This month, I think November, we're going to do the record month of email ever. I have to go back and check the analysis for today. But getting emails is super key. And so, but people overcomplicate it. They send people to the website. There's just too many options. And websites and stuff can be okay, but we were doing $1.5 million a year in our business and we sent people to a single page and that's it. And so remember, before I show you some examples, one purpose, get them to take the next step. That's literally all you want them to do. And if you have low traffic and low flow, you want to give away something for free, like a lead magnet. If you have tons of traffic and high flow, which I'll show you now, then you can have what's called a VSL into a booking as well. So let's go through some real life examples, okay? Let's pull it up. So we'll go to my profile now, right? The banner, look, it's almost taking the piss. It's scroll down, click my links, make dollars on LinkedIn. It's the most basic thing ever. My headline here is generate revenue on LinkedIn, literally. DM me 7FC to get started. That's it. It's the most basic, simple thing ever. It even kind of looks childish. My About Me section has nothing in there, and my top skill is making it rain on LinkedIn. And literally that's it. And so when I look at the content I create, which I'll show you through the content creation process, the whole point is to get people to click either to visit my website or to get them to click this button here, this one here, right, which takes them to our site. Now, I know that this is not exactly a high converting landing page on our site. We have a lot of traffic and we've engineered the site in a way where people can choose their program. And then when they do, depending on who they are, let's say they want to start selling on LinkedIn for free. If they click that, you can see here how this is a high converting landing page. And what I mean by that is I can't click anywhere else. The whole purpose of this video, of everything on the page, is to get them to give us their email in exchange for a free How to Start Selling on LinkedIn 5-day course. And so this is a high converting landing page. And so here's a couple of examples of clients ones. And I've had 3,500 people download this free thing in the past month and a half, which is insane. The amount of email addresses we've captured. I think we have 11,000 people on our email list now. And I think I've only been building it for 7 months. It's crazy. So an example is Beon, one of our clients, right? Book more meetings without growing your headcount. Very, very simple. Book more meetings without growing your headcount using AI. Interested? Cool. And so he's got the visit my website button and he's got 2 links here. And these 2 links say, do you want to use AI to book calls on autopilot? Well, of course I do. Or do you want to get this ultimate AI pack? So let's say I want to book calls on autopilot. This is the page builder we have in our program. And Beyond, when he launched this in 12 days, he booked 68 calls from this. As you can see, you either click the button or you leave. That's it. And this is through the page builder. AI wrote this page for him in our program. Everyone in our program has access to it to set it up, because this is part of what you need. And so let's say I'm interested to have a chat. I watch the video. I click the button. It then takes you through to what's called a tally form, or just a form. The reason you want a form and just not a calendar link straight away is because 1/3 of people will go to your calendar and then they won't book a time. But imagine if you didn't take the details, you would have had no idea. So what you want to track is, okay, how many people have clicked here? How many people have clicked interested? And then I'm going to be like, okay, then they can put in their information. The cool thing about these forms is if I put in my name and email website here, then I leave, it still captures it as a lead. And then you can chase them up and they could, be able to be like, hey, Matt, so you put in your deets and you book a time. How's tomorrow at 10 a.m. for you? And you can rebook people in as well. And then it goes through to a calendar link. This is a really good example of a VSL page. VSL just means video sales letter. The whole point of this video here, is to give people a tons of information away for free to convince them to click the interested Let's Chat button. That's literally all it is. Now, I've got another client as well, Senya, right? Her profile is super clear. I help executive women in tech leave corporate to start SaaS businesses. Like, so easy to understand, right? Coached 1,000 plus, 1,100 executives from these companies. Bit of social proof, her in the banner, her photo up here, really nice and up close. Works really well. Super clear headline up here as well. Business coach. Then down here, her About Me section is like a sales letter. She used the AI enough in our program to actually write it. And then she's got here a lead magnet. How to run customer interviews to validate a business idea. Download free guide. And see, she doesn't have an example here. Click here. If I click it, and then she says, what's inside? First name and email address. Senya right now is capturing emails to build our list to eventually sell stuff later on as well. It's a free guide. So this is like a perfect profile setup, because Senya can then track any LinkedIn post she puts out, how many leads did it generate. Amazing, right? Let's look at Jeremiah's one as well. Now, I'm not that much of a fan, biggest fan of his designs, but he's crushing it right now in our program. And like down here, if I say here's a free training video for project management, right? If I click that, straight to the page, free training video, click it, put in your email, you get it. You get what I mean? So all these people, all these clients can actually track how many leads their profile is actually generating. And so that's how your profile needs to be constructed. And like, if you don't have this and you're producing content, it's just a waste of time. It's literally just, you have no idea if your content's even good. You just get controlled by the algorithm and just the notifications. So let's go to the next bit, how to create client attracting content. This is like, I'm just going to show you the most basic way how to create client attracting content here. Like, everyone overthinks this. The problem with LinkedIn is that, and any social media platform, is you get paid usually in notifications, like in your mind. So like, you see the red notification dots. So like, let's say I go to LinkedIn, right? Let's say I wake up and I see these notifications and there's like 9 of them. It makes you feel good. You want to click it. You want to look at it every single time, right? And you're like, oh, I love this, right? It's just that these notifications are not real money. That's the problem. And the thing is, people do a lot of commenting on LinkedIn and they produce this like content that gets a lot of likes. And so they feel like they're successful, even though they're not, just because the algorithm's telling them. So I've known people who've done this for literally, there was a client in our program, Daniel, who just posted it. And he said that he posted on 18 months on LinkedIn pretty much every day, no clients, none. And then he started DMing for 2 weeks. It was like 3.5 weeks in our program, and then he goes first client. He's like, I made more progress in 3.5 weeks than I did in 18 months. because the problem is, like, he thought he was like being like, he thought he was doing something that added progress. It was like, it's what they call it. It's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like, if you look that up, it just literally says that like sometimes people like are so ignorant to being so wrong that they just keep pursuing the same thing over and over and over again, thinking it's going to fix it, right? And it's not even their fault because they don't even know. And like, so I'm just going to walk you through how to create actual client attracting content and show you examples of it at the same time. And so why does content matter? Well, I'm going to move my little head here so you can see this first little slide. So content matters because content does not equal dollars. Content equals trust. Trust makes it easy to have conversations, and more conversations lead to more money. That's why. And so all content is selling one to many. Sales is selling one to one or one to like a group where I went to that 100 people at that event, right? That's sales, right? It's still marketing and sales, but like more sales, right? Content is selling one to many. It's you being able to put a little bit of trust in people's mind. Like a little bit of trust each time they see your content. Like this video right now, you're watching it. The more you ingest, the more you're going to be like, okay, Matt knows his stuff about LinkedIn. I probably trust him more about his advice to do with LinkedIn, right? And I'm doing this at scale. Like the best salespeople in the world build trust very, very, very fast. Like what I used to do cold calling was when I used to do cold calling. I booked about 150 meetings cold calling, right? Is I used to have to build trust and rapport in like a second when I got on the phone with people. And then I used to have a 5-minute conversation with people and then book in a meeting with them. Sales is building trust really fast. Content is also building trust, but the problem is that people don't create the right content. So they build trust around like feel-good posts, or bad manager posts or productivity posts, but it doesn't have anything to do with the thing that they do. So they don't build trust in the thing that they do, which is a problem, right? And so the way, let me keep moving my head over here. The slide deck wasn't designed to be recorded, as you can see, but spent like a few days on this slide deck. So I wanted to reuse it after just one presentation. So what you want to think what content is like people either start off as a stranger or they're a trusted advisor. So like, let's say my brother who's getting married this weekend, like he trusts me a lot and I trust him. And so if he gives me a recommendation for something, as long as it's within something that I'd want to do, I'm going to trust him. I'm going to do it. But like if I meet a random on the street and they tell me to go to a restaurant, I might not go, you know what I mean? But like if they're a restaurant review person on Instagram and they like review it and then I trusted their other stuff, probably going to trust them on that thing. And the way that you build trust with people is you spend time with them and you deliver them value. And again, value in exchange, like let's say someone's a comedian, value is laughs and it's a reflection and you thinking about things. So the definition of value doesn't have to be like juicy Alex Hormozy value, right? Like it's just what's the value associated with the thing that you're selling. And if you sell, like if you're a comedian and you're trying to push you selling that, like your value is laughs. And my value that I try to do is insights on being able to help people make money on LinkedIn. Like that's the value I want to help people do. And so I know that if I show up consistently, like just by showing up and posting consistently, that builds trust, like literally, even if you don't deliver that much value. But like if you add time and value, showing up and value and depth of content, like another reason, like I like to call it the metric you want to really think about is what's called time on content. You watching this video right now is you spending a lot of time with me and my content, and I don't have to replicate it. That's the power of media, right? But like that's why, you know, if you just do a quick LinkedIn post each day that's like a 10-second read, but you don't have additional stuff to come off that, you know, you don't give away lead magnets and have DM conversations, you're not building a lot of trust. It's a lot of like, you know, vanilla trust. And so always think about time and value when you're creating content. So the content you create, and it's like why Justin Welsh does so well. Go to his content, look at every single post he ever does, and it has a link. And if you click on it, it takes you to like his newsletter or to buy his thing. And when you click the link to go to his newsletter in this post, quickly look at the top and look at the address bar, and it's going to say UTM. What a UTM means is that he's tracking how many clicks there are on each post. He tracks it, right? That's what good people do. Now, I said I'm going to show you this slide a lot, but in regards to content and the demand generation pyramid, as we mentioned before, only 3% of people are ready to buy right now. When you want to be able to create content, like to make, depending on whatever awareness stage they're at, right? People call this tofu, mofu, bofu, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, right? But like, I don't really think about my content too much like that. I just think about it as solving the problems that I know people have, because I talk to people in our program all the time. So I know the issues they have, right? As an example. So like, but like with content, you can take someone from, you know, they might think they aren't interested to actually, you know, being interested. And then they're actually thinking about it, and then they're open to buying. And you can do that through persuasive content over time. And when I mean content, I mean a DM back and forth is you exchanging content with someone. Content you put out there is exchanging content. So think about LinkedIn less as a selling platform and more of like, instead of you selling to only the 3%, I would rather sell to 100% of the market at all times. That's what good marketing is. And so the goal of the content is to lubricate the sales process and getting them to trust you more. And what trust does is it increases the chance of you closing the deal. You know, and if you do this through persuasive messaging, that's essentially copywriting. And like, that's the goal. It's copywriting is channeling the inner desires of the market when sometimes they don't even know that they need it. Like when good content, like when I know my content's on par is when someone messages me and says, man, I just found your content. I feel like you really spoke to me. I didn't even think about LinkedIn as generating leads before, but now I'm going to join your program. I know I've done a good job with content because I've channeled their inner desire of wanting to earn more money, wanting a life of freedom, wanting a life where they don't have to rely on an agency to generate leads for them. And I've done that through my content. And I've convinced them, which is massively, massively impactful. And so you want people thinking about you all the time, as weird as that sounds, like literally. And there's me without a mustache there back in the day. And so how do you get good at it? There's only one way to get good at content. And you have to become obsessed. That's it. Like when I produce, like I read so much content now, I save heaps of LinkedIn posts, and I'm going to show you my content creation process now. Like I'm doing the process today, like right now, like I'm batching content today, and I'm going to show you how I do it. But like the only way to get good at content, or the only way to get good at anything, is you become obsessed. Like, and when I mean obsessed, you read all the books, but like you actually produce heaps of content. You study the best content people, you DM them, ask them questions, talk to them, you try different things. Like you have to become obsessed. And I'm obsessed with content. I love creating content. I'm obsessed with sales and DMs. I'm obsessed with solving the problem of helping small business owners generate leads. That's like my obsession, right? And it's the only way to win and get ahead, because there's a book called Expert Secrets by a guy called Russell Brunson. If you don't know who he is, he started a company called ClickFunnels. And ClickFunnels is like, just Google it and look up Russell Brunson, right? This guy's like the best webinar seller of all time. And he's written many books like Traffic Secrets, .com Secrets, Expert Secrets. But when he talks about Expert Secrets, is like the way that you get ahead in business. And Daniel Priestley also has a book on this called Key Person of Influence as well. But like, you need to become the best, the expert. And it doesn't actually require that much to become the best expert. Like, I don't even think I'm that knowledgeable about LinkedIn, but I'm probably one of the most knowledgeable people on LinkedIn in the world. I'm not going to like, and this isn't me like tooting my own horn, me just being real. Like the amount of revenue we generate, how many people we help, like I know, but I still think we have so far to go. But like when you get to that expert status level, and one like Justin Welsh, when you see that guy, you're like, that guy's the solopreneur guy. He's an expert. You have a lot of play that you, like pool that you can do in the market, and you can become any expert in any sub niche as well. And I coach so many people who are content creators right now who are already experts on this as well. And then I just show them how to channel and make more money, which is awesome. So again, why does content matter? Content doesn't equal money. Content equals trust, and trust equals easier chats, and chats equal dollars. So how do you write client attracting content? This is going to be the most exciting part. Now let's see how my little, I'm going to have to keep moving myself around, because again, this deck wasn't designed to have a little video of me. So number one is you need to follow the top creators in your niche. So Justin Welsh is an example. He's like a competitor of mine, right? I follow all the top creators in my niche who produce the best content because they're the best. And if their content speaks to their audience, if you take their content and you rip it and then you recreate a similar one, your audience is probably going to like it as well. So following these top creators, do it on all platforms as well. You don't just want to do it on the one platform, but if you're writing for the one platform, you want to write in the style that platform actually likes. The second thing is I like save all their content through LinkedIn, and then I just paste it into a board. So I just have this like massive board of like all the best content of the stuff that's like triggered something in me when I've read it. So I have like unlimited inspiration for content posts as well. Then what I do is I also just write down every content idea that I have. Like I have like in my phone, I'll show you right now. In my phone. Yeah, there we are. So if I go here, I've got LinkedIn post ideas, and I just like constantly write LinkedIn content all the time. Like just always writing it down. Like I've got a LinkedIn post one, a podcast one, a YouTube one, right? All the time I'm writing down content ideas, and it always happens at the most unexpected time. Like I was running home from the gym today, and I've been out sick for a couple of weeks. And so like it was a bit harder to run than normal, but I kept getting good content ideas because I get a lot of inspiration when I run or whenever I do go outside and walk. And that's whenever I run, my time's always shit because I stop and I walk and I write content down for a little bit. But like there's all different areas you get inspired with content. And it usually happens like, you know, a lot of creators, you know, you watch those movies where the artist just like walks around aimlessly, you know, in this medieval times, like in this like, you know, court, whatever it is. Like he's walking around in an area in a castle and like inspiration strikes and he like runs back to his room and he starts writing. It's legit. This is what happens. Happens to me. Then you just want to write content all the time. I'm actually going to write down one thing as well because I'm going to put that 5-step success. I'm gonna post that one this week again, because that one, I'm gonna write it down so I remember. That post generated tons of leads when I actually put it out. It was really cool. But like, yeah, it's like you need to write content all the time. The only way you get good is like do something daily, like literally. And then you want to post consistently. I now post twice a day. So it's like I post about 12 times a week, because Tuesday, Thursday, I do a lead magnet post now. And so I only do one post on that day. So it's like 12 times a week, like 7 days a week. And I schedule posts now as well. I used to think that was a bad thing, but I just need to make sure I engage, but I schedule them just so I lock them in. And then you want to track, and this is the key, right? Then you want to track how many leads did you generate per post. So you remember before how I was talking about a lead converting profile? Well, if you give away for something for free on LinkedIn in your LinkedIn profile, and then you put out content, and one day you get 15 leads, and then the next day you get 2, but the first day your post only got 10 likes, and the second day you got 50 likes. Which one's worth more? Probably the lead generating one. And that's the problem. People don't track leads per post. They track other things which don't really matter, like profile viewers, or they track like likes and impressions, right? And those things all do matter, and they're all a contributing factor to like the leads generated. But like the ultimate KPI is like how many people went to Senya's profile and downloaded the how to run customer reviews sheet, because that's her clients, they're interested in it. Like, so she's tracking how many people, potential clients, went and clicked on my profile and downloaded my free thing. That's what matters, like of all the things. And this is where people get wrong. And so, and then all you do is then this post, I posted it again last night. This is like the 8th time I posted this post, like literally it generates leads every time. You then recreate and repost your best performing stuff, literally. And like I just wrote down a post then that I posted twice. I'm going to post it again because it did really well every single time. So I'm going to repost it again because it did well each time. And so you want to recreate and repost. So you can just slightly change the post a little bit. Whenever I do this post, I just change the dollar value based on what it was in that period of time, and just repost the stuff that's performing, and it's performing by how many meetings you booked. That's what matters. And then you do this for a year, literally. So like you don't use impressions and stuff as the gauge. You use leads generated. And so let's say you do 7 days of posts in a week, or 5 days. Let's say you go Monday to Friday, and then Tuesday and Thursday, you got 15 downloads, and the other days you only got 5. Well, you're probably gonna look at that content and be like, what was different? And then how can I repost that content, or how can I recreate it and make it better? And then you're gonna track again and again and again. And that's what you're gonna do. That's how you generate. That's how I booked 2,007 meetings in a year, because I use that as my metric to actually track. And most importantly, you need to become obsessed. Literally, there's no other way. You have to become addicted to content. You have to become obsessed. You can't just be like writing content with AI, or you can't just like, briefly read one book and just start creating content. Nah, you just can't. You have to become obsessed. All the best content creators I know became obsessed with content for a period of time. Now, like, I can write banger content and I don't really have to think about it. And I think I'm an okay writer. I just know what works for LinkedIn and what my audience likes. But like, you need to become obsessed, especially obsessed with your ideal client. Like, what are the things that they want? Like Justin Welsh, great example of this. Like, I rip on the dude for his business model all the time, but like, he's not here to make the most amount of money. He's here to optimize his lifestyle. That's literally what he says. That's why you should model him. Like, because if you want to grow, it's like you shouldn't do what that dude did. Like, working 3 hours a day to grow is not how you grow at all. Like, you grow through discomfort. Like, that guy's been through a lot of discomfort in his life. Now he doesn't want to go through it. And that's why he could make 10 times as much money as he wants if he just worked more hours. Like, he could. And that's why people shouldn't model him, especially people who are trying to grow and build a life that they want. But you have to become obsessed, like, and addicted to it. That's the only way. So let's go through a couple of real life examples now, as an example. So people in our program that create like great content, right? Chris Carlin is an example, right? He was not a content creator, not even a marketer. He's a financial advisor or financial planner, wherever you're from in the world, right? He generated so many leads that he was able to quit his job and start his own thing, right? And he started a couple of months ago, but usually people just they've been doing it for a longer period of time for that flexibility, right? So like he left because he generated so many leads. I think he left when he had 20 to 30 leads generated and already had like 5 or 6 clients locked in, right? And so like he's originally not that. And he sells B2C, right? Good content. Mundo as well. He recently joined our 7-figure creators program. So he graduated. Since working together, he's doubled his income, literally doubled. And he's barely implemented half the stuff. Mundo is an excellent content creator. He is very, very good at content. Look at his content, his videos. He's a beast, man. He's smiling
Every single one, everyone likes him, as if you wouldn't want this guy as your financial planner. He looks like such a legend, right? And so have a look at his content, analyze it. It's amazing, right? Adrian Fowler's another example, right? He's a recruiter here in Australia. He's actually a LinkedIn top voice. He was actually my very, very first client, which is crazy. But like, have a look at his content, look at it. It drives people. But what's even better, right, is get this free guide on how to hire sales pros, or get his terms and pricing, right? So he's got his free thing that you can download here, which is really, really awesome as well. At the same time, Archer Sampson, he helps people break into mergers and acquisitions. So really good headline here. His content as well, super banger content. Like, if you look at, there's a tool called Clio. He did one post that got about 7,000. Actually, let me see if I've got Clio here. No, I don't have Clio here. He's got like 7,000 comments on that one post. Let me actually pull it up, because it was just insanity when he got it. It's crazy because he did it like two days before his wedding. And he called me. He's like, what do I do, dude? Like, the post is going off. And I was like, man, you're just going to, have you got a little cousin that can log in as you and like message people? Wow, this one did well. 10,000 likes. Not bad. That's beast. I'll show you this one that, this lead generating post that went even better. Yeah, this one here, 7,647 comments. And he didn't even put this discounted cash flow model together. One of his students did, which is like really, really cool at the same time. Jeremy Frugia is another content person, like in Loma as well, who's a client we have. She works with national disability insurance providers. So like the weirdest niche ever, right? Literally ever. But like, let's say she did this lead magnet post and she got 49 leads, which is amazing. And you probably think, 49 leads or even 25 is not that good. Yes, it is, because if she does this to the national disability insurance provider industry, every lead is like 100% going to be her ideal client as well. And so like, this is examples of like content, and like, I'll go back to Beyond's another example of like doing this really well at the same time. But like, go back to like my posts, and like, if you have a look, like this, remember I said that one that I posted like 8 times? This is it. I closed $215,000 on WhatsApp this month, literally. It's like, and then 28% wearing green socks with Zoom slides. I literally posted this like 6 times, and like every time it generates so many leads. But like, all I talk about is like literally the same thing. It's like, here's like a client who had a really good result. Here's, me paying for a haircut, but like, talking about this, like, here's this book thing I'm doing. And so it's like, all I'm posting about is like how to generate leads. Here's another client that generated a lot of leads. Like, that's it. It's like how to solve these problems. This is after I got banned on LinkedIn. I didn't get banned. I had a security threat, so I locked my account, so I had to get back in. I was like, hey, I'm back. This is the best testimonial I've ever received. Like, all this stuff. It's like, people just overthink content. What you do is I put out this content, then I have this section here, which when people click on it, right, and they go here and they choose the program, and I track, okay, how many meetings did I book and how many downloaded my free thing? That's it. And then I go back and I see which content went the best, and I repost it every time. That's it. That's all I do. It's like nothing crazy. All right, last one, how to have chats. How to have chats that turn into calls. Let me just move my head here. It's out of the way. So how to have chats that turn into calls. Like, this is the biggest one, because most people have issues just like having too many casual conversations in the DMs. They become friends with people. You don't want to do that, right? And the number one rule. What is the number one rule of having chats that turn to actual meetings? Do not pitch slap at all. What a pitch slap is, hey, I saw your profile. We should have these services. You want to buy them? And I'm guilty of that. I used to do that all the time in sales, because that's what I was trained to do. But don't do that, because LinkedIn's a networking platform. People don't go there to get pitched, but they'll happily hear your pitch if they feel like you understand your problems and they have an actual genuine conversation with them. So think about networking. When people go to a networking event, they meet someone else, they introduce, build some rapport, have some trust, give some value, and then they talk about their services. That's it. Just do the same thing on LinkedIn. And like, if you take anything away from this talk, just do that and you'll just like make 5 times the amount of money on LinkedIn. Literally. Just don't pitch. Like, don't. And just actually care about the other person. Be like, hey, what are you actually struggling with? Like, let's say you're a financial planner. What's going on right now? Like, how's the savings going? What are you trying to do? You want to buy a house? What's holding you back? Oh, that really sucks. Here's a calculator to calculate your savings. Like, just do that. Be helpful, and people want to work with you. It's like, it's actually really easy. It's just resist the urge to pitch. And so remember, back to the old demand generation pyramid. When you pitch first, you only target 3% of the market. But when you hold off the pitch, when you don't pitch, you literally are marketing to 100% of the market. And you're going to have like the power of LinkedIn. The reason we book so many meetings now, and like last month, our revenue jumped from about 160,000 to 220,000, which like blew my brain because I was sick for 2 weeks with COVID. I think the reason I'm going to do an analysis of this is the reason we grew so much is because I didn't change anything and didn't do anything new. Because as an entrepreneur, we always feel like we're failing if we don't do new stuff. I just made everything, make sure it ran really well because I was knocked out from COVID. And like, that's why we grew. And I'm going to do like another video report on it as well. But like I've had people join, like I had someone message me on WhatsApp over the weekend after they saw my WhatsApp post about closing deals on WhatsApp. And they're like, hey, can I still join? And I'm going to pull up WhatsApp right now. When was the last time I chatted to them? Like literally, it was so long ago. The message was like, yeah, it was like 2 months ago. I sent them the link to our thing and they just didn't get back to me. And then he just came back and said, hey, mate, is this still running? And if so, how much is it? Like literally came back. And we started chatting in like March. Like people just, they don't think the long game. They just can't think more than like 2 weeks ahead. And like, it's delayed gratification. Like that's all it is. Like literally, that's all you got to do to win. It's not hard. And so what you want to do is you want to reframe to be like, okay, I'm not like going online to sell to these people. I'm just going online to help them. I'm literally want to become the most helpful person. Like, when I get a DM from someone who's like, Matt, I want to thank you so much. I closed 5 deals using your free thing. I'm like, fuck yeah. I'm not thinking, well, join my paid thing, you dickhead. Like, I'm like, hell yeah. I'm so happy for you because if that's helping them so much, there's going to be someone else who's like, who does it and gets help. And they're like, Matt, I want to work with you. And I'm giving value into the market. I'm building my brand, like true brand. I'm not like posting this post that's like, you know, like you deserve more, stand up to your manager, leave your job. It's like, that doesn't add any value. They don't even associate it with you. They just see it as like some generic platitude on the platform, but it doesn't even matter. But I'm building actual value of like, you know, maybe when this person 2 years later, maybe then they want to work with me and they're going to think about me because they're going to be like, Matt, you're the guy who like literally helped me do this. Like I've had people who, someone the other day who closed heaps of deals with my free stuff. Then they joined someone else's program and then they realized the other program wasn't even as good as my free stuff. And then they came back and joined our program, like literally. So if you just help people a lot, like you just win. Like, and you want to think like networking on LinkedIn is a skill. It's like the reason people like give up is because like networking in person, like going to meet people at in-person networking events is a skill. Like there's a very famous sales trainer called Jack Hanna. Look him up. Absolute legend, right? I've read his book, right? He's psycho. Like he's insane. He's awesome. But like, he's like 80 now and still does it. He's like one of these dudes that just runs like an ultra marathons like all the time at like 75. Like it's crazy the amount of energy he's got. But like he talks about how when he goes to a networking event, like when he leaves the event, he sits in his car and he sends a really nice personalized email to everyone he met. That's good networking, right? He's a beast. Like people just, they're not good at the skill of LinkedIn. So they just disregard it as a lead gen source. And this is most small business owners because of the two things we said at the start. They just don't do it enough and they're not good enough. And like, that's literally the problem. There's the Dunning-Kruger effect of like when people think that they're good, but they're actually not good. And they keep just doing the same things to feed it over and over and over. And they're just unknowingly not good at it. And hence why I make all this stuff to like make you know that you're probably not good, but you can learn and then crush it. And then there's only one way to get good. This is just wrapping back it again. Having hundreds of chats, 10 times more than you thought. Everyone watches these movies. Like, oh, who is that guy? Who it is. It's Scott Galloway. That was the guy I was going to remember. Look up the guy called Scott Galloway. He looks like he's depressed every time he speaks, but I really like the dude. But like, he told the story about how he got his first consulting client to pay him 150 grand. And he tells the story, right? And he's like, yeah, so I reached out, and I finally got onto them, and then we closed the deal, and I couldn't believe it. And then the guest speaker was like, oh, just so the audience knows, how many people did you reach out to before you got that? And he's like, oh, hundreds. he's like, for 6 months, I was reaching out to like hundreds of businesses, getting rejected left, right, and center, letters in the mail. I'd call them, like literally hundreds. But like, he didn't say that in the story because like, I think as an entrepreneur, like he just assumed like, of course you're going to be reaching out to hundreds of people, but like, he probably just forgot that like nobody does that. He's like, yeah, hundreds. But like, it just seems simple. Like, this guy who had this really nice education, he just went out and he just like closed this deal because, his daddy knew someone or something like that, right? Like everyone would just assume that, but like, no, he had hundreds of conversations. Like he got rejected for 6 months and then he finally closed the deal. Like literally, like that's it. And so you got to have hundreds of chats. Like people, you're just going to have so many chats that You'll know you're in a good position when you stop getting back to people. That's when you know you're in a good position. And like when you're having these chats, you're going to have these feelings, which are totally normal. Like you're going to feel shame. You're going to think it's beneath you. You're going to wonder how life got you here, and you'll get punched in the face all the time with rejection, like literally all the time. Like you're going to feel these things. Like this is what DMing feels like, or messaging. And then eventually you'll find it really, really boring. But when it gets boring, that's when you know you're doing the right thing. Like literally when you're like, man, this is so boring. I'm messaging so many people. I booked a few meetings. That's when you know, okay, that's why you're doing the right thing. I think that's why we grew like from $160,000 to $220,000 in a month. I think it was more. I think we did 225,000. It's because we just kept doing the boring things. I didn't do anything new. I just sent more emails, just making offers, and I literally just made my content really succinct, and I just trained the team. Like that's all I did. Like, and so I even have to remind myself, it's like, it's the boring things. It's not these new, inventive, crazy things that you do as an entrepreneur. Because like the hard thing is, as an entrepreneur, when you get into it, you get rewarded from doing like the crazy things. Like you do, like business rewards you for like putting yourself out there and just doing something different. But like when it's working, that's when you just keep doing the boring thing over and over and over. Like the amount of clients that like I chatted to one client recently who like used to get tons of leads and meetings via LinkedIn, and like they just haven't improved their content, right? It's not better. And they're like, it's not working. Like, you know, I might go to ads. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, you book like hundreds of meetings through LinkedIn. Your content's just not good because you haven't invested into it. You've just been repurposing the same stuff. Like literally, it was already working. You got hundreds of meetings, and it's like, and it's just the same lessons learned over and over and over again, right? So where do you start having conversations that turn into calls, right? Well, you want to start by finding prospects in Sales Navigator. At the start, you're not really going to have an audience, right? And some key things when you're finding prospects in Sales Navigator, you know, if you're going to start selling and like you don't really have anything right now, you want to sell something that helps people make money to a business owner that would rather pay with money than their time. That's it. You want to sell to that person, right? And like you want to start off by connecting with people that know people you know. Start with your network. Start on easy mode. Start with everyone that's said no to you. Start with people that are connected to your current clients using Sales Nav. This is not going to be a Sales Nav training, but like there's so many on YouTube, man. Like just get the free 2 months of Sales Nav and invest in learning it. Like most people what they do, right, is like, I've seen this from coaching so many people, is like they download the thing, they open it up, they look at it for 5 minutes. Oh, it looks too hard. It's like, nah, go to YouTube. Watch like 1 hour video, try to build lists, actually use it. And then like, you'll just become competent. Like most people just give up like before they even get there. It's honestly sad. Like I just see this all the time. It's like, it's never the tool or anything like that. It's always the individual. It's like a lot of people like who, like I've got a group of I'm in a mastermind with a lot of loaded people, right? They talk about dollars and income, like so straight up. Like I tell my friend Ben, who I present at this conference, I just tell him my exact revenue, how much money we're making. He tells me all his, we don't care because like there's no ego associated. We just see it's part of the game, right? But like other people in regular life who I just know, friends from growing up, no one talks about income because it's like a lot of people are just very like self-conscious about it and stuff like that. But like, it's just all these things about people just like, they just don't grow. And like, even I've seen this so many times with LinkedIn Sales Nav. Someone just tries for like 5 or 10 minutes. Like we recently released this Figma kit, which is a kit on how to build your profile. And the number of people that literally bought the kit and they just didn't look on the left-hand side that says, just click the start here guide. And they're like, oh, I can't find how to start it. I'm like, it's in the open your eyes section. Like seriously. Or people are like, oh, I used it, I couldn't work it out. It's like, man, you didn't even try. It's like people want to be spoon-fed like everything. It's like, when I started working with my co-founder, Steve, some things he taught me is like, you've just got to be really skilled yourself at doing things, because that's how you get fast as well. So if you get Sales Nav and if you found it too hard, just watch some YouTube videos, get good at it. Next is you want to connect with 150 people every week because you can do it up to 200 depending on whatever the limits are, right? The reason you want to do that is because if you connect with 150 people a week and you have a 33% connection rate, that's 50 people you connect with a week. That's 2,500 people in a year. You can't talk to 2,500 people. Don't tell me you can. You can't. And they can all be your perfect ideal potential clients and you can build relationships with them over a year. But the problem is most people, people just don't even just do the simple basic things every day. They just don't even do it. It's they'll connect with people for like 2 weeks and they just stop. It's like, why'd you stop? It's like, oh, it's hard. It's like, it's required. Like, it's what you have to do. Anyways, and then you got to have hundreds of conversations. You got to chat to hundreds of people, literally. And you can chat to so many people, you're going to forget you're chatting to people. You can chat to so many people. And that's the best thing about LinkedIn. It's like a networking tool. You can network with people online. You can just, if you have a meeting canceled, just log in and book another meeting. Like, if you have a slow week, just network for 20 hours online and book some meetings. Like, but the problem is that people just, the Dunning-Kruger effect, like, locks in again. They think they know what they're doing, that they don't. And that's why you want to buy stuff and re-educate yourself and like follow people that are further ahead in the game than you. Like, I don't model, to me, try to get ahead on LinkedIn. I don't model other people on LinkedIn who are like within my lane. I model the guys who like make literally 10 to 20 times as much money as me on other platforms. I'm like, what are they doing? I'm going to model what they do because they're the weapons. And then you want to nurture, offer help, and meet them. That's it. What I mean by nurture is like have conversations with them. And then after you have a long conversation with them and they vent to their feelings, and I have tons of trainings on this, I'm not going to go deep into it. And then you say, hey, sounds like you got these problems. You potentially looking for some help with this. Want to jump on a call tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then you meet them and you try to help them. That's really what happens. So some real life examples. I'll show you a couple of real life examples. Let me, because I think I'm going to end it soon because we're nearly done. Let me, a couple of real examples, right? Let's just show like one example, right? So Roy is a client who closed £120,000 in a week, right? His profile's set up, but before this, right, I'll show you. He's running another campaign right now, right? Before this, Roy had not posted in 6 weeks, literally. If we go back, boom. Hadn't posted in 6 weeks because he found posting slowed him down because he wasn't good at it. Like, seriously. Like, DMs are where you win. It's how you win LinkedIn. It's like my business partner, Steve, like, he has no profile photo, never commented, never posted, literally nothing. He closed £100,000 of revenue in like 3 months, like literally. It's like, oh shit, real life examples. And we're at the end. Yeah, but like the DMs is hard to explain. I got so many other trainings on it. Watch my other YouTube stuff. It's just such a deep topic. I can't go through it now. But like, think about it. LinkedIn is a networking platform. You're there to network and add value to people over time. Think about LinkedIn as like, it's every time you have a conversation, you create content, you generate a lead, you're building up social equity of trust that's going to allow you to sell to more people. And that's how you win on LinkedIn. That's literally how you win LinkedIn. You win LinkedIn by creating a lead converting profile. So when people go to your profile and you create content and you message them, they're like, oh, I know what Matt does. I know how he can help me. And I'm going to download his free course. I'm going to get in his email list and he's going to market to me a lot more till I eventually buy. Essentially, yes. Then I'm going to create client attracting content because once my profile's set up, I'm going to create content. I'm going to track the leads. How many leads did I generate from the content? And then I repurpose it and I just keep doing this for a year. And I do 2 posts a day usually. And then just have heaps of conversations, like start hundreds of chats. Like people just underestimate the amount of conversations they need to have. They start like 5 chats a day. Man, you got to be chatting for hours, like hours and hours and hours. Like I usually put these big Sony headphones in and I just like shove them in. I'm just like listening to some alpha waves and it's just going crazy and I'm just DMing and creating content. That's what I'm going to do after this video, write some more content. And that's how you win on LinkedIn. I think it just went into, yeah. And then in the presentation that I did as well, as again, this is a tip if you ever do a presentation, give something away for free. We'll also be sending you a lolly bag. I like the term lolly bag. Don't know who Samuel's 10th birthday is, but whatever. I got a little cousin called Samuel, but he might be close to 10. I think he's like 12 now, actually. And then you say, well, it'll include, and the reason you do this, and so I gave them a free LinkedIn profile banner kit, but like you want to incentivize to capture people's emails so you can keep marketing to them essentially. And then it included a 17-page sell by chat doc showing them how to sell by LinkedIn in the DMs, and also included a build your LinkedIn funnel kit as well. So like I gave all this free stuff because I want their information to market to them to get them to buy my stuff, or just in general so that they support me in the cause. And then tons more. And then I just went to questions and that was it. Because the reason I had a questions slide is because I had 90 minutes and I didn't know how long it would take. And I needed a questions thing because in case I finished 15 minutes early, I'd be like, cool, I have 15 minutes for questions. And then it worked. But guys, I hope you enjoyed that presentation. as well. So that was a presentation I did at a mastermind where people pay 20 grand a year to be a part of. And you got that for free there, which was, hope you enjoyed it. Like tons of information. Guys, if you want extra help with LinkedIn, I have a free course in the link below. Click on the free course, download it. It's a 5-day course as well. And if you want, and like do it, people are just in closing deals left, right, and center for it. There's like 3,500 people have it now. And if you want extra help and if you want faster and easier results, probably going to work with me as well. So I work with people, small business owners all over the world right now. 538 of them, as you saw. It's actually more than 538 because I did this presentation last Wednesday. So it's actually more now. I think it's like, let me pull it up. How many is it now? I actually don't know how many it is. I'll show you through Loom. 568. Wow, we had 30 people since last Wednesday. That was a good weekend as well. But yeah, if you want some extra help or you want to work with me, like in our program, 7-Figure Creators, just go to our website, lock in a time to have a chat with us as well. If not, guys, I'd really appreciate a like or subscribe or whatever platform you're watching this on. Have an epic day, guys. Peace out. Catch ya.